chapter 29 here, and remember our lit talk is due next week, so pay attention as we read these next couple of chapters and be thinking about that lit talk, the setting, the characters, the theme of this book, all of those things. A memorial service for my parents is held in the neighborhood community center on the second Saturday after the accident. Dell drives me there, and Mai and Patty come too. Guang Ha has other plans, and I watch him head down the alley with what looks like bolt cutters in his backpack. Lenore meets us at the community center, and I see the nurse from Jameson who helped me when I hit my head, and I can't look at them. I can't look at anyone. As we walk to the front doors, Mai takes my hand. It feels warm. It is colder than normal, and a sea of mostly unfamiliar faces press too close, saying some version of how sorry they are. I'm not sure I can breathe. The air is sticking at the top and at the bottom of my lungs. They put me in the front row. Workers from my dad's union organized this event, and there are three people are speakers. I do not hear a single word that they say. On an easel next to the podium is a poster-sized picture of my mom and dad taken back when my dad had hair and my mom was skinny. They had their arms around each other, and they are laughing. I know this picture. It sits on an angle in my mom's bureau in a frame made from seashells. I remember when I was younger asking my mom why they were so happy in this photo, and she said it's because that they knew one day I was coming into their lives. It wasn't logical, but it did make sense. After the service, everyone is given white balloons, and we are ushered outside. The helium-filled inflatables say Jimmy and Roberta in chunky purple letters. The idea is to release them while some guy in a suit, but also wearing sandals with white socks, sings about love being the answer to everything, and I watch in horror. I know for a fact that the latex lumps will end up tangled in electrical wires, and they will find their way into rivers and streams and even travel for miles out into the ocean, where they will choke fish and endanger marine mammals. But I cannot find my voice to do anything about the future calamites, because it is someone's idea of inspirational to release the bobbing weapons. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a toddler refusing to let go of his helium prize, and his parents finally manage to pry the ribbon from his clenched fist. As the 4-year-old sobs in agony, I know that he is the only one here who understands. A small article with a postage stamp-sized photo of me is in the local paper, and a fund is started for my future education. My father's employer makes a generous contribution, and there are other people on the list of donors, but they're only names I've heard in passing, not associated with faces that I would recognize. The only person that I know is Hario Hernandez from Mexicano Taxi Company. I write Hario a thank you note, and he calls happy polished nails. It's 2.5 weeks after the accident, and I use the stationery from here, so he took a guess that they might know where I am. Patty is surprised that a man wants to speak to me. I explain he is an old friend. He is a friend, and a lot older than me, so technically I'm not lying. Hario asks how I'm doing, and then he says, I want you to call me if you need a ride somewhere, and I say, thank you, I will. It's quiet for a long time, but I know he's still on the phone line. Patty is watching me, so I nod and try to look like I'm listening to more than silence, and I finally say, did you enroll in school? He says, I haven't done that yet. He then asks, how is school going for you? I could just say fine, but it feels wrong, so I say, I'm taking a break from that, and he says, me too. I add, but I'm going to the library today. Maybe that's some kind of start. I hang up the phone, and later in the afternoon I ask Patty if I can go to Beale, and she says yes. Once inside the building, I go upstairs, and I find the spot behind the donut chair. I crawl back there, but I don't sleep at first. Instead, I watch the world from this protected place. The library has regulars, and a lot of them talk to themselves, but they do it quietly because quiet is enforced here. After a long nap, I go back down to the first floor. The computer room is the most popular space in the building. I'm surprised, but a lot of the people who think I might be homeless from the amount of things that they're forced to leave downstairs at the front desk go online. I can see that they check their Facebook pages, and I watch these people click through pictures and view the same kind of videos as the bored-looking teenagers who show up when school is out. I'm not sure why this is reassuring, but it is. I go outside and I sit on the steps. I'm not waiting, I'm just being. Time exists only in my mind. For someone grieving, moving forward is a challenge, because after extreme loss, you want to go back. Maybe that's why I don't calculate anything now. I can only count the negative in the negative space. I'm on a different planet now. I only speak when I absolutely have to, and otherwise I do my best to be invisible and stay out of the way. No matter how hard they try, other people do not understand because I'm incapable of communication. And this is why the deepest form of pain comes out of silence. Mai, when she's not at school or with her friends, talks to me about her life. I listen, but I don't answer. I spend most of my day with Patty, and she's there for me. And just being there is 99% of what matters when your world is falling apart. I know for a fact that Kwang Ha hates me, but I'm okay with that. I have brought nothing positive into his life, and now he has to wait longer to use the bathroom, and the hot water in the shower runs out more quickly, and I try to do everything last, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way, and I don't want to cause trouble, so I haven't said anything about being a vegetarian. I just push the chicken or pork pieces off to the side and then later transfer them into the napkin, and then at the end of the meal I sneak them into the trash. I know that I'm eating meat bits that escape the tragically simple procedure, but the principle of my decision is intact, even if the reality is compromised. All reality, I decide, is blended where hopes and dreams are mixed with fear and despair. Only in cartoons and fairy tales and greeting cards do endings have glitter. I somehow make it through the first month. I dress and I brush my teeth when they tell me to, and I experience the hollow feeling of complete loss, which is emptiness. Meaning has been drained from my life. I forced myself to think of anything, but the one thing I'm actually always thinking about. And that's really exhausting, that I sleep more than and that is also so exhausting that I actually sleep more than I ever have. I am a shadow. I no longer dream in color. I don't count by 7's, because in this new world, I don't count. So you can kind of get a glimpse of how just deeply Willow is feeling this hurt, this pain. And I want you to kind of think, how is this going to change Willow as a person? How is this going to affect her character? We'll start tomorrow with chapter 30, and the rest of the week it's going to be a little bit longer of readings. Enjoy!